Hey you guys, what's going on? It is lividfray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today, and welcome back to another episode of Just the Good Stuff, where I show you only the good stuff from the vendor restocks each week, starting off right here inside the terminal. As we usually do, we do have a really good G36 here actually this week with Predatory and Destructive. You can roll off Focused for anything you'd like. You can do Ferocious, Brutal, Deadly, whatever you want to do here. This would work out pretty well with a Striker build, specifically a 9k stamina. And it would also work out really well with pretty much any kind of high stamina build dedicated towards PvE. Our next stop is going to be over at Camp Clinton. This vendor actually has quite a few things to check out this week. Made it over to Camp Clinton. This vendor has a pretty decent Liberator for sale. Always a disclaimer, the Liberator has some pretty rough handling, but it does have Unforgiving, Vicious, and Ferocious. You can roll off Unforgiving and roll Deadly here for a Predator build, or you can use this for PvP and just roll Ferocious over to something like Responsive, and it would work very well. Our next item is going to be this Inventive Backpack with Skill Power and Ammo Capacity already rolled. Just roll Stamina over to Electronics. Our next option is going to be this Sticky Bomb Explosion Radius mod at a maxed out 6%. Use these on your Striker builds to utilize with the Flashbang Sticky. And then our final item here is going to be this Tyrant Suppressor. As you can see, all the best rolls that you could want. We're just missing half a percentage on the headshot damage. Apparently these Tyrant Suppressors can actually go up to 8.5, but I've only ever seen an 8% ever in this game, and I just got the 8% actually somewhat recently too. But yeah, you don't see these very often. If you'd like to use the Tyrant Suppressor, here's a good place to grab it. Our next safe house is going to be Dante's Run. We do have two options to choose from this week, but this is going to be your best option because they're both stamina, but we do have damage to elite mods this week at 190, 3% damage to elites. It's not the greatest, I know, but if you guys don't have any, please make sure you buy these. I can never emphasize enough how important it is to buy the damage to elite mods whenever we get them. We do not see them often, especially when they're very good, so if you are like a newer player, or if you're still trying to find damage to elite mods, make sure you get these. They are 100% worth it. Our next safe house is going to be the Meat Locker. We have a custom M44 here with Adept, Brutal, and Balanced. I would recommend changing Adept over to Prepared, and this would work really well with a Hunter's Faith build. That's going to be it for the Light Zone. Now we're heading up to East 61st Street. Alright, this vendor is selling an Omega for us this week. The main reason why I wanted to recommend this one is because we don't really reach 18%ers too often. You can craft 18%ers with the Tan Omega, but otherwise, we don't. The highest is 18.5, and we usually only see like 17s and 17.5s. We don't really get an 18 too often. And this week we actually have gotten a couple of those. Our next vendor is going to be Park Avenue, which is right down here. Alright, we made it to Park Avenue. There is a Vector 45 ACP here that's actually really good rolls. We've got Vicious, Responsive, and Dominant. You can roll off Dominant. I think this is more of a PvP weapon here myself. I would use this more in a PvP setting, so you could roll Dominant over to something like Competent, or you could even do Deadly here, would be very good. Responsive and Vicious do work in PvE, but they're not really PvE dedicated talents, but you can use this in any concept of the game. It's really decent rolls. You could use this on pretty much anything that you can make it work. Our next vendor is going to be East 42nd Street. Alright, I've made it to East 42nd. This vendor is selling an extended magazine, 119.5 mag size, 5% reload speed, 4% critical hit damage. All of these are really good. It's just that the magazine size, you're missing about, a percentage and a half or so. Otherwise, the actual percentage doesn't matter a whole lot. It's maybe like a difference of a bullet or two. What really matters are these minor attributes being reload speed and critical hit damage. I believe these are maxed out. Our next vendor is going to be at the DZ03 Saferoom, so I'm going to head over there and I'll meet you guys there. Alright, I've made it to DZ03. This vendor is also selling a Vector. We have a First Wave Vector with Adept, Responsive, and Ferocious. This is definitely more of a PvE-oriented weapon, but I would keep Responsive, and you can roll off Destructive here if you want to. Would probably be my recommendation. You can also do Deadly. This can work out with the majority of like high-end builds, or maybe a Striker build where you're wanting to get some of your SMG kills done. This would work out really well. Our next vendor is going to be West 42nd Street, so I'm going to head over there and then I'll meet you guys there. This vendor is selling another extended magazine for us, except this one has a higher rate of fire minor attribute instead of reload speed. But again, this one is just, you're missing like maybe 2% here on the magazine size, but again, this is like a bullet or two depending on the weapon. And we still have maxed out critical hit damage and a really high rate of fire roll, so I would definitely recommend something along the lines of this as well. And then our final vendor is going to be West 53rd Street. Made it to West 53rd. This vendor selling another Omega Tan, 18% with optimal range and critical hit damage. Both of these are very good rolls to have on Omega rifles. Basically, the only difference between this one and the other one is that one of them is tan, one of them is black, as well as one of them being for optimal range and the other one being for accuracy. So it's really a dealer's choice. Both of them are DZ, so it's completely up to you on where you would like to get them. And finally, we're here at the blueprints. So just to give you guys a heads up, I'm going to come out with a video here in the future just going over the blueprints that are in the game. I'm just going to explain like what blueprints you should be buying and at what point in the game you should buy them. For this particular video, I'll still go over like my preferred blueprints that you should buy, but that video in the future is going to cover blueprints in general, and I'm just going to start linking that video in these video descriptions because I found myself like tediously going over all the blueprints at this section of the video, and it just wastes time for both of us. So I'll still go over it normally here. For example, the classic M44 carbine sniper is available inside both locations. Make sure you pick this up. This is the hardest flat damage dealing sniper, but it does miss some weapon attachments. Additionally, the M60 is available at both locations. If you want to pick this up, you can. That's pretty much all I'm recommending from this location, other than maybe the heavy magazine spring with rate of fire. This is here if you want to get this, but it's not really something that I would recommend. Additionally, the VX1 scope is here. This is the power level 33. This is the highest that the VX1 scope goes. So if you don't have any good ones, this one still goes up to 18%. So you could still buy and craft these if you need to. Heading over to Cam Clinton for the remaining blueprints. Alright, we're over here at the next blueprint vendor. Like I mentioned, M60, classic M44. These are both here. Additionally, we have the compensator and the heavy magazine spring is available in both locations. We have a lot of mod options over here. We have the electronics mod, the performance mod, and the stamina gear mod are all available here. That's honestly it. There's nothing really here that I'm recommending other than maybe this 182 gear score sawed off. This you can use, predatory sustained determined on your striker builds to get all of those bonuses active at once. As long as you have some stacks, you should be able to proc them no problem. But that's pretty much it for the gear that's available this week. Hopefully there's some items that you guys will be picking up. Keep an eye out for that blueprint video in the future. I'm also in the process of making 2 other videos, one of them being an Amherst apartment clearing guide for speed runs for the global events, and another one being a gear mod breakdown. That one's taking me some time to complete. I'm kind of working on both of them at the same time, but I'll probably start prioritizing this blueprint one first because I want to have that one ready for the next Just the Good Stuff video. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.
Can't believe the bullshit that went down in the dark zone at the end there.
I know. We had it. Everything I told them was dead on. They made us pull out anyway.
And we left our dead behind.
Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Hang on a second.